Ranti is a devoted mother and a caring wife. She has her own side business of selling chicken meat, and her co-sister-in-law Siti and her sister-in-law Gita help in her business. Siti is 7 months pregnant, and as a typical co-sister-in-law she doesn't like Ranti. Gita tries to stay neutral between her two sisters-in-law, but she likes Ranti more than Siti. Every early morning all of them go to their market stall to sell the chicken meat. Ranti had packed the order for a specific customer, Mr. Haj, but Siti knowingly sells that package to another customer. Mr. Haj comes to pick up his order, but Ranti doesn't find package, so Ranti asks Siti about it, but Siti responds to her in a rude manner. Gita then tells Mr. Haj to wait for a while, and Ranti prepares his order again. Ranti also has a daughter, Nina. She has had a leg disability since birth, so she has to wear a caliper to stand and walk properly. Ranti's husband, Bayou, is a sailor, and he is preparing to leave for his work. So Nina gets sad about it because she knows her father will be gone for a long period. Bayou's younger brother, Bayou, raises roosters for cockfighting, and every day and night, he is busy participating in cockfighting events. Ranti also has a mother-in-law, and they all live in the same house. Ranti, Siti, and Gita return from the market, and the mother-in-law is displeased because she didn't see any breakfast on the table. Siti says that they didn't have time to prepare breakfast before leaving for the market, and she tries to put the blame on Ranti. The mother-in-law seems to favor her younger daughter-in-law, so she also indirectly criticizes Ranti. Bayou stays quiet, and only Gita tries to speak for Ranti. Ranti had bought some breakfast from the shop, and she quietly put the food on the plate with an unhappy face. After breakfast, Gita takes Nina to school, and seeing this, the mother-in-law asks Ranti if she is going to pick up Nina from school. Ranti says that Gita will again pick up Nina, because she has to drop off Bayou at his work, and after that, she will have to deliver pre-cooked chicken to her customers. Hearing this, the mother-in-law is not pleased with Ranti because she wants Ranti to take care of her daughter by herself. After that, Ranti prepares the order and her husband Bayou is ready to leave for his work. He says goodbye to his mother and brother by handing over some money, and this time he might be offshore for a month. On the road, Ranti finally expresses her feelings to her husband. She says that no matter how much she works, his mother always blames everything on her, and favors her younger son and daughter-in-law. Ranti also wants her husband to defend her, and Bayou calms her down by saying that he will defend her from now on. Then Ranti sits along the shore and watches her husband leave. After that, she makes all the deliveries, and when she returns home, she sees her mother-in-law crying. Nina got in an accident, and again the mother-in-law blames Ranti. Ranti immediately rushes to the hospital, and Gita makes an apology for her mistakes because she forgot to pick up Nina from school. The doctor says that Nina is in a critical situation, so they will have to perform major brain surgery, but the chances of saving her are slim. The operation cost is very expensive, and Ranti is worried. Then one old lady who sells food around the hospital hands a package of rice to Ranti and tells her that there is one other way to save her daughter. The old lady then gives her address to Ranti before leaving. Gita notices the interaction between them and asks Ranti about the old lady, but Ranti brushes off her question. At home, Ranti tells her mother-in-law that the operation cost is through the roof, and she is unable to contact her husband. The mother-in-law also doesn't have any money, and Gita suggests selling the house, but Bayou strongly refuses. He tries to reason by saying that their mother's health is not good, and also his wife is about to give birth. Then the mother-in-law makes the decision to wait for Bayou to come home and find the solution together. But there is no time to wait for Bayou, and Ranti now understands that there is no hope from her in-laws, so she decides to take the help from that old lady. She goes to the old lady's house, and the old lady starts to prepare Ranti for the ritual. The old lady says to Ranti that she will be married to the demon, and right after the wedding ceremony, her demon husband will take care of everything that she needs. Then the old lady kills one rooster and feeds its liver to Ranti. Then she bathes Ranti with the rooster's blood, and readies her with the red wedding dress for the first wedding night with the demon. Then she makes Ranti say some vows and leaves the room. The old lady then starts to sing and dance and calls the demon. Slowly, the veil of Ranti is removed on its own, and the hands of the demon starts wrapping Ranti. Then the demon and Rianti spend their first night together as husband and wife. After their wedding night ceremony, the old lady tells Rianti that to keep her daughter alive, she will have to make offerings of a rooster's head and its liver every week. She shows her how to prepare the offerings and tells her to bury them around her house. Then the next day, Rianti and Gita are back home with Nina. Overnight, Nina has recovered, and her leg disability is also completely cured. The family members are surprised to see Nina's instant recovery but don't give it much thought. However, City is suspicious and thinks that Rianti did some black magic stuff. Day by day, City sees that Rianti's behavior is mysteriously changing. She notices that Rianti now likes to sit alone in the dark room, and she has started to take a bath every single night. One afternoon, City sees two Rianti at the same time, one inside the house and the other one outside with Nina. She tells what she saw to Gita, but Gita thinks she is just talking nonsense and brushes it off. Then one night, Bayou returns from his cockfighting event and asks City to make some noodles. As City is about to cook the noodle, she sees an army of toads right outside the kitchen's window. She is disgusted by those toads and slowly places the pot on the gas stove. Then one toad comes forward and suddenly jumps inside the pot. City quickly takes out one fork and stabs that toad. She throws that toad outside and closes the window, then she notices Rianti is still taking a bath. So she secretly records Rianti taking a bath and spreads the video. By the next morning, everyone has seen the video, and Rianti is really angry with City. She rushes straight into their meat stall, takes the butcher knife and grabs City's neck. City confesses that she spread the video, and instead of apologizing, she challenges Rianti to admit her involvement in dark magic. Rianti attempts to strike City with the knife, but Gita arrives just in time to intervene and stop her. Rianti then strikes the knife on the butcher's board, and she suddenly comes to her senses. Turns out, her demon husband had possessed her to confront City. Rianti then notices that a crowd of people had formed, and they are all terrified by her behavior, so she immediately leaves that place. That night, Bayou again comes home late and asks City to make some noodles. So she goes in the kitchen, and while making the noodle, she is startled to see Rianti right behind her with a creepy smile. Rianti starts to act weird, and she puts her hand directly into the boiling noodle water. Rianti then takes out the toad that City had killed last night and eats it right in front of her. City is terrified and disgusted, and Rianti leaves the kitchen without saying a word. City again makes the noodle and brings it inside the room for Bayou. She tries to wake him up, but Rianti is sleeping there instead of Bayou.
Itu loh si Mbak Ranti.
Rianti then quickly grabs her neck and rams her hand inside City's stomach. City is now dead, and Rianti tears her stomach from inside and takes out the unborn child. Rianti then eats that child and laughs at City's dead body. In the early morning, Bayou returns home and sees that his wife is missing. Bayou thinks she might have gone to her parents' house after the fight with Rianti. The mother-in-law scolds Rianti for it, and Gita defends Rianti by saying that it was City who made fun of Rianti. Gita then tells her mother that they will ask around people to search for City, but her mother strongly forbids them to do that. She says that they will have to try finding City on their own, because she doesn't want people talking about them, and she is worried that it will bring down their family's name in the society. Then everyone goes to their own work, and now the mother-in-law is all alone in the house. She tries to call City, and she hears a crying sound on the phone.
Siti? Siti?
Slowly, her wheelchair moves backward on its own, so she immediately locks the wheel. She again hears a crying sound from behind, and feels someone's presence but doesn't see anything. It was the spirit of City, and she wants her dead body to be found. That night, while Gita is taking out chicken from the coop, she hears crying sounds coming from the pit where they dispose of the chicken's remains. The crying sound gets louder, so she takes out her phone and uses the camera to check but doesn't see anything. At that same time, Nina's toy goes to the bathroom, so she goes inside to take it. As she picks up her toy, Rianti slowly emerges from the water tank and asks Nina if she wants to take a bath with her, wearing a creepy smile. Nina screams out, so Gita quickly runs inside, and City's spirit was standing right in front of her the whole time. Nina is standing outside of the bathroom in horror, and Gita asks her if she is okay. Nina is now afraid of her own mother, so she asks Gita if she can sleep with her. The next morning, Ranti takes out another rooster of Bayou's to make the offering for her demon husband. She throws the remains of the rooster into the pit and sees a familiar clothing piece. She checks it out and finds the dead body of City. She immediately goes to the old lady's house, and the old lady tells her that from the day of the wedding, the demon has been living inside her, so whoever tries to hurt her, the demon will defend and avenge her. Ranti then asks the old lady if she can get rid of the demon, but the old lady says that she can't do anything because it was Ranti who chose to sign the contract to marry the demon for the rest of her life. Helpless, Ranti drives back home in tears, regretting the decision that she had made. Bayou is busy watching his rooster fighting in the cockfight, and in the middle of the match he sees a vague figure of his wife. He then starts searching for her, and the spirit of City keeps following him from behind. One of his friends finds him and tells him that his rooster is dead. So he takes his dead rooster home, and as he is digging a hole to bury it, he hears a crying voice from the pit. He checks out the pit, and he is horrified to find his wife's dead body. Ranti then comes back from the old lady's house, and she sees Bayou threatening her daughter. Ranti quickly rushes in and sees that Bayou has found and dug out City's body. He has also found Ranti's shirt in the pit, and confronts Ranti about whether she really killed his wife. Gita steps in and takes Ranti to another room. Bayou's mother tells him to bury City's body in the backyard so that other people don't find out about it. Bayou then buries his wife in the backyard and notices Ranti going in his rooster coop. Bayou follows her inside, but Ranti has already disappeared from there. Then one invisible force drags his face across the wooden wall and rams his eyes into a stick. Bayou immediately comes out from the coop, but the invisible force tosses him around and again throws him in front of his rooster coop. Scared, he gets inside, and something grabs his neck and lifts him above the ground. It is Ranti's demon husband who is doing it. The demon again tosses Bayou and slams him on the ground. Bayou then sees his rooster above him, and his own rooster plucks his other eye and eats it. Bayou is now blind, so he walks around without any senses. He then stumbles into the wooden wall, causing the metal roof panel to fall, and it decapitates him. Gita wakes up from the noise, so she goes out to check and sees Ranti. Ranti has now come back to her senses, and she is horrified to see Bayou's decapitated body. She goes inside the house without saying anything, and Gita also sees what had happened to Bayou. Ranti then locks herself in the room, then Gita keeps asking her how Bayou died, and if she is the one who killed him. Ranti knows that her demon husband is slowly taking over her body, so she begs Gita to stop questioning her because she doesn't want Gita to be the next victim. The next day, Gita buries her brother's body in the backyard and suggests to her mother that they should at least seek the help of Mr. Haj, who is also a shaman. Her mother still doesn't want other people to know about the death of Bayou and City, so she tells Gita that they should wait for Bayou to come back home before doing anything else. However, Ranti's condition continues to worsen. All day she screams and laughs at herself, and she bangs her head and body against the wall, hurting herself. With no choice, they finally decide to ask Mr. Haj for his help. Mr. Haj takes a glass of water and starts to pray. The glass suddenly shatters on its own, and Mr. Haj realizes that he is too weak to challenge the evil that is living inside Ranti's body. He probably doesn't want other people to know that he is a weak shaman, so he tells them that there is nothing wrong with Ranti. He then tells Gita to pray if they feel unsafe, but Gita knows that it is just a false hope. As Mr. Haj is leaving, Ranti whispers to Gita to stay out of her business. Gita turns around but sees no one beside her mother. One day, Ranti starts preparing the bed with flowers, and she also takes out her red wedding dress. She then sees Bayou has returned, and all this time she has been tracking the day of his arrival. Gita and the mother tell everything to Bayou, but he finds it hard to believe that Ranti is capable of killing anyone. He then knocks and asks Ranti to open the door. Ranti slowly opens the door and tells him that he can't come inside, with a creepy face. That night, Bayou sleeps on the living room sofa, and he wakes from the sound coming from Ranti's room. He peeks inside the room and sees Ranti in a red wedding dress. This time, the demon reveals himself and engages in intimacy with Ranti. The demon was waiting for this day to show Bayou that Ranti is no longer his wife. Bayou realizes that something evil has imprisoned Ranti, and Gita has an idea who might be behind this. The next day, Bayou locks Ranti inside the bathroom and chains her to the metal pipe. Then Bayou and Gita go to the hospital to look for that old lady. Back at home, Nina notices that there is no power in the house. Then her grandmother hands her the food to give it to her mother. Nina quietly puts down the food in front of her mother, and as she is about to leave, Ranti calls her. Ranti's appearance has completely changed, and she tries to convince Nina to free her. Nina just stands there in horror, and Ranti suddenly shouts at her. Nina runs toward her grandmother, and her grandmother is also scared of Ranti's horrible appearance, so she tells Nina to close the door. Soon the night falls, and since there is no power in the house, Nina brings candlelight for her mother. She sees her mother has not eaten anything yet. Ranti tells Nina that she wants some crackers in her food, so Nina goes to the kitchen to get them. Bayou and Gita are still searching for the old lady, and their mother calls them to return back home, because there is still no power in the house, and she and Nina are afraid of Ranti. Nina then brings the crackers for her mother, but she is gone from her chained-up place. She then hears her grandma scream, so she quickly rushes into her grandma's room, and sees that Ranti has already killed her with a knife. Ranti is now totally possessed by her demon husband. She asks Nina for her crackers, and Nina quickly closes the door and runs toward the kitchen. She then decides to hide in the attic. After some time, Bayou and Gita return home, and they see that their mother is dead. Bayou tells Gita to search for Nina, and as she is searching for Nina in the bathroom, Ranti suddenly appears behind her. Gita slowly backs out and smashes the plate on Ranti's head. A piece of plate gets stuck on Ranti's forehead, and Ranti just takes it out with a creepy smile on her face. Ranti grabs Gita by her neck and starts tossing her around. She then throws Gita into the backyard, where Gita's knee gets pierced by a nail. Now Ranti drags her to the water well and begins smashing her head against the wall. In a desperate move, Gita manages to grab a pair of garden scissors and stabs Ranti in the chest, but nothing happens to her. Then Ranti punches Gita and knocks her down on the floor. After that, she takes out the scissor from her chest, and at that same time she hears Bayou's voice from inside the house. Bayou is searching for Gita, and he feels someone's presence behind him. He sees Ranti is upside down, holding the garden scissor, ready to cut off his head. He manages to escape the attack, and Ranti starts teasing him with that scissor. Ranti then grabs his hair and slams him on the floor. She then lunges at him and stabs him with the garden scissor. Dying Bayou says, "I'm your husband," but the demon says, "She is no longer your wife, and she is my bride now." Then the demon lets Ranti see his human husband for the last time. Ranti then comes back to her senses and sees that her husband is dying. She starts crying, holding his head, and immediately the demon takes over her body and twists Bayou's head all the way around. Nina is watching everything from the attic, so she screams when she sees her father being killed. Now Ranti knows where Nina is hiding. Ranti opens the attic door and brings Nina down. Gita rushes in to save Nina, but Ranti just grabs her neck and starts licking her face. Nina knows that the current Ranti is not her mother, so she takes the garden scissors and tries to make a deal with the demon. She says that she wants her mother back, and he can take back her health and legs that he had given to her. Nina then keeps crying and calling for her mother. Real Ranti is trapped inside her own subconscious mind, and she hears Nina calling for her. She sees Nina's silhouette at the end of the tunnel and runs toward her. Then the real Ranti snaps back to reality. She is horrified to see what she has done. The demon can again take over her body at any time, so she tells Gita to take her daughter away from here. She then goes to the kitchen and pours gasoline on herself. She apologizes to Gita and Nina and sets herself on fire. Gita and Nina drive away as their house burns down in flames, and the whole neighborhood rushes to put down the fire. Mr. Hadj sees them fleeing, and he just stands there feeling defeated. After that, Gita and Nina seek shelter in one abandoned house. Gita sees that old lady again while opening the window, and she hears Nina falling down on the floor. Nina tells her that she can't move her legs, then they see one closet shaking on its own. Gita slowly opens the closet and sees Ranti's red wedding dress. Now Gita has to make a choice. If she wants Nina to live, she will have to marry the demon. So guys, this was the movie The Demon's Bride. It is an Indonesian horror movie released in 2025. In short, Ranti accepts an offer to become a demon's bride to save her dying daughter, but she paid the price with the lives of her family members. And now Gita also has to make the same choice if she wants to keep her niece alive. What do you guys think about this movie? Comment down below and remember to subscribe to the channel for more movie breaks.